LILINETTE, so this morning we got some new resurrection data mined information courtesy of Hecan. In this case, the Halloween summons Haunted Ramble with Grimmjow, LILINETTE, and Gin are resurrecting this month on the 13th. Now, because that is actually happening, that of course does mean that Senjumaru, Kiryu, and also Tenjiro, their banner, is not going to get resurrected at least for the next few months. We might see something very similar to Round 4 when they got resurrected when the anime started to rebroadcast in Japan, which for the most part was around 3 or so months after season 1 of the anime actually ended. So for those that are wondering on when this banner might resurrect, it might be like 3 or so months from now. At worst, it's going to be when the anime season 3 starts to air, sometime in 2024. Either way though, since they are resurrecting Grimmjow, LILINETTE, and also Gin, I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to eventually get around to doing Byakuya, Kaien, and Rangiku. Because 1000 Year Blood War isn't getting resurrected, we only get one batch this month, so we might not see Byakuya, Rangiku, and Kaien resurrected till November. That would be kind of weird, a bit delayed, wouldn't be the first from K-Lab, but I do hope they get around to resurrecting this banner, because for those that don't know, at least with Byakuya, he kind of kickstarted the meta that we have right now with characters having really good strong attack kits and also good damage outputs. Either way though, let's have a look at the 3 resurrectable characters. What do they deserve to get, and what exactly are they picking up with their resurrection? So in this case, Gin is a 12% recharge, so of course, strong attack damage, full stamina is always going to be ideal here. At the same time, if they want to go down a different route and give him like a status augment duration, something like last ditch stamina recovery, I don't know, I'd be down for it. He already does have 2 immunities, so I'd be surprised if they do give him another status immunity. It might just be strong attack damage, and that's perfectly fine. One thing to keep in mind though is that this character only has 8 skills, and what we have been seeing when it comes to seasonal characters like this is that they only get 8 skills. So the question that we are about to see now is that, is he going to get an innate skill? If he does, he's picking up a new skill. If he doesn't, he's getting no new skill, and that would kind of be a bad resurrection, especially for those Gin fans. If he does pick up an extra skill with an innate ability, I'd like to see Havoc, although in this character, it doesn't really matter all too much. So with that said, let's have a look at it, right? So scrolling down, he does not get an innate skill. He does get drain duration, which is kind of bad. So unfortunately, it does look like these characters aren't getting more than 8 skills. This looks to be the cap for the time being. Maybe in the future, it will get increased for non-1000 Year Blood War characters. I will say though, it is nice that his Berserker got increased by 20%. So even though he didn't pick up a new skill, he still saw a damage increase. And again, this is going to be the standard, right? It was around this time characters started getting Frenzy and also a Berserker value. So it is nice to see at least what we should come to expect with future resurrections is that those that do have a Berserker value, it should go up. Even if it's only 20%, it's still nice to see a damage increase. Unfortunately, in this case, though, that's all he got. The drain duration, again, I don't mind the recharge and a status augment duration soul trait, a second soul trait. They're actually pretty good, especially with the new very hard guild quest, right? I also, though, personally get a use out of it in IT, for example. In this case, though, this is kind of a bad one, because drain is only ever inflicted by enemies, and that's avoidable by not taking damage. You know, weakening, paralysis, burn, any other status augment, you're going to see that on the floor. They can be annoying if you get inflicted by it, which will happen in Guild Quest and Inheritance Trials. Drain duration is easily avoidable by not taking damage. I guess links like this need to exist. It's nice to have the option, but it's not really that good. And it's definitely, in my opinion, the bottom of the barrels when it comes to status duration soul traits. Next up, though, we have Grimmjow. Now, I'm really hoping he does get a good soul trait here because he is a 14% recharge. If he picks up strong attack damage, if he picks up full stamina strong attack damage or full stamina damage, any of those 3 damage increase soul traits are going to be really good here, especially for the power attribute. That would make him one of the better links in the entire game, right? And then, you know, as already announced, we are getting a new bonus ability system where we can give our links extra stats to give to our main character. That will make him an even better link. So I'm hoping here, one of the few times to not mess up on a soul trait, K-Lab, give this character a good second soul trait. When it comes to the skills, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's actually picking up 2 new skills and also a potential good secondary soul trait. There is some really good potential here with this Grimmjow. I would like to think he's going to get Havoc. It would be really cool to see his Berserker get increased by 20%, and maybe damage to weakened enemies, or an SP boost, or an increased chance of fixed stats elements. I don't know. There's a few things they can do here. I'm actually kind of excited, looking forward to this one. It can be either really good or really bad. Let's find out. All right then, so here we go. His special is Halloween Destroyer. If this character gets a bad resurrection, my Halloween is single-handedly ruined. Let's see it. So we got strong attack damage. We'll take it. I would have preferred full stamina damage or full stamina damage, strong attack damage. But this is still good. This is still good. That's perfectly fine. Not going to complain about that. It's going to be a good link for 8th anniversary Ichigo, and I do use him quite a bit. Let's check out the skills though. Damage to poison and an increased chance. That's not too bad, to be fair. So I thought that was actually weakened. It's actually poison. It's really not bad. It's very similar to 1000-year Blood War Yamamoto. You're doing more damage to a certain status on an inflicted enemy. And then now you also have the increased chance to inflict stats on it. And you also saw a damage increase. Honestly, this isn't too bad. He does lack range, keep that in mind. Grimmjow never had the best strong attack kit. His range is kind of lacking, and it would have been really cool here to see him pick up Havoc. I think I would have preferred Havoc over the damage to poison enemies, but it's still over a solid upgrade. Remember, these characters aren't 1000-year Blood War, they aren't limited anniversary. So their resurrections by default are always going to be a tad bit lackluster when compared to those characters that get special treatment. But I think this is one of the better resurrections out there that aren't, 1000-year Blood War anniversary level resurrections. That kind of makes sense. I'm happy the character got better, and I'm happy it's a pretty good soul trait. And then last up, we have LILINETTE, who has maybe some potential here. NAD characters are now gotten better in Guild Quest because they're actually viable. So there is something Caleb can do here, I guess. Soul trait is damage taken. The only good soul trait you can pick up here is normal attack damage, maybe a status element duration, depending on the week that she wants to be used in. Although I don't think it's that big of a deal. I feel like just better off to give her NAD damage here, because damage reduction links in particular are only really used in Brave battles. So getting that extra normal attack damage would be really good here, especially because in the fact that we had Shinji last month, 20 DR, and also normal attack damage, it would be nice to get another good DR and NAD link. But they definitely could go a different route here, and depending on that route they go, I wouldn't really entirely mind it. When it comes to the skills though, she has 7 skills, so she is going to pick up a new skill. What will that skill be? Not really too sure. Maybe more damage to enemies not afflicted by an ailment. That will be really cool. Maybe a bit too OP for a resurrection like this character. Could pick up follow-up. Hopefully she sees a damage increase on the bruiser. Get that to 50%, 40%, and that's kind of good, to say the least. Again, there is some potential here, especially because of the fact that she is a potential good character in Guild Quest now. So the soul trait is normal attack damage inflicted at full stamina, plus 20%. That's not too bad, to be fair, and it makes sense because she can heal. When it comes to the other skills, though, she got Devastation. No, she already had that. So it took me a minute there to actually realize what she got. She picked up Healer. So a 20% increase on her bruiser, 20% more normal attack damage when you are at full stamina, and she also does get more heals on the healing effects. Honestly, that's not too bad. Remember, this banner in particular is a mid-month banner, so these characters in particular are always worse compared to end-of-month characters. And I'd like to think here, this is actually quite a solid resurrection. It definitely will be noteworthy, and for those that do have a max transcended or 5 out of 5, she definitely can be made use of in the hard difficulty of Guild Quest. Remember, in that particular mode, when it comes to NAD characters, of course their damage output being high is important, but at the same time, so is having a high attack stat. And since she's been out for years, maybe you have her duped out, you can get some value from this character, even if it is only for one particular Guild Quest. The extra 40% normal attack damage is going to be great. Same goes for the extra heals that she can potentially offer. I will say though, this normal attack damage soul trait is kind of like counterintuitive. You take less damage, but you also, I guess it does kind of make sense to you. You take less damage, but you want to stay at full stamina, and I guess you have to heal to get back up to full stamina, right? Traditionally though, damage taken soul traits are only really used in Brave battles, right? You're going to take damage, so this soul trait for DR characters really isn't that good, unless you're using a speed character that can take no damage for the first 10 seconds, like Tsukishima. But there's so many characters that can ignore invincibility. So, yeah, as a soul trait, you're mainly only going to be using it for the 16% DR. This, you're not really going to get much use of, but this is more so, I guess, for... It's more so for herself, really, because even in normal PvE content, if you're using a DR link, you're probably autoing, and at that point, you're taking damage, right? So yeah, this soul trait is more so for herself, a 40% increase, more heals on her SA2, overall, not too bad. And with that, that's basically the upcoming resurrection batch. Honestly, quite a decently solid resurrection, all things considered. Again, it's like a hype anniversary 1000-year Blood War level resurrection. Gin got more damage, kind of a mediocre soul trait. Lilienette, more damage, more heals. Definitely can make use of her in guild quests. And then Grimmjow, more damage, good soul trait, and a bit more utility with that increased chance to inflict stat summons. Lilienette and Grimmjow are definitely the winners of this batch. And again, for those wondering, we might be seeing Kaien, Rangiku, and Byakuya resurrect next month. And these characters actually still, like, obviously damage output they don't hold up, but they're still like decent characters. So I'm kind of excited to see what they're going to pick up in their particular resurrections. So with that said, lads, that was the video for today, going over the next set of resurrectable characters. They will be resurrectable on the 13th, where again, you can get 225 orbs if you do own all three, and get some decent value, at least with the soul traits. Let me know what you like to know about these characters in the comments below. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.